Well, I guess to play off Brian's comment, I mean, so adoption, right? I mean, so obviously different people in different areas have different levels of, and let's stick to the broadband piece of this, right? Of broadband access. What's the base requirement, to truly do effective telehealth online? Now, you put aside the phone, obviously, Rachel, you mentioned that they do a lot of that, but from a broadband perspective, is there a base technical requirement of things you have to be able to have a good telehealth, telemedicine appointment?
Yes.
Well,
Where goes Sue?
Drinks. Everybody drink.
Okay. I was seeing patients virtually yesterday, all day, and a lot of them were on the phone. And one individual was a new patient, and I spend a lot of time with a new patient. And we started with a video, but this person was actually in their car because their kid was at home and they didn't want the child to hear the discussion. So they were in the car, and it worked for about 15 minutes. And then it was, I got to call you because you're going in and out. So yes, and you guys probably know this better than I do, but I think you need at least, you need at least 5 upload to be able to have a good connectivity. But remember, it also has to do with, who else is using the service in your home. So, how many devices there are. So you can't just go with one individual, but you guys know this better than I do.
Yeah, that shared bandwidth is a problem for certain network technologies, and Brian knows this better than I do, but we're in the business of helping companies that are deploying fiber to the home in a lot of places. It's not going to go everywhere, but a good wireless connection is also, certainly adequate. But we experience that bandwidth overload. Sue, just today I was on a call, and a neighbor in a pretty well-developed area with what you would think would be a good broadband connectivity was on a Zoom call like this, and he couldn't speak. The voice wouldn't come through. It was just dropping out. So that they had reached a fail point, and it was because 3 or 4 other people were in the same household using the same bandwidth. And so certain network connections are, not robust enough to support even this kind of conversation.
That's right. Just since this all broke out, COVID, I've had 150 meg broadband cable connection, and it's always been amazing, fine, right? It serves all our needs. But now, not only with the 4 people in the house being on a video conference, which obviously is the hardest experience to make perfect, right? Because if we have a problem, we're hearing and seeing it. But now that all my neighborhood is also doing the same exact thing, luckily for us, there was an option where now I brought in a fiber connection to our home, and we're getting, obviously a lot better internet, but it's the experience. It's actually the big difference, Will, that we saw was the latency. On the other technology, that latency was really affecting our two-way communications. And since we're doing this kind of stuff all the time with clients and employees and partners, it's vital. So luckily for me, I live in the middle of Denver and we have options, but that's not the case for many.
Brian, you were talking too about it has to be easy and accessible. And I don't know, I think, Nick, you asked if we had access to telemedicine or ourselves. And I do. I haven't used it, but it's called Teledoc, and it's provided through the coverage we have, the family coverage. So you can dial up and have I think it might cost a small copay. They might even have waived them right now, like you suggested, Rachel. But Teledoc is an app that's, I don't know, there are probably lots like it, but that's one that I have on my phone and have access to through my insurance plan. But what's more intriguing to me is on the mental health and behavioral health side of the equation. We all know somebody who's suffering from depression or anxiety or some other affliction or suffering on that front. And there are apps now that meet people where they are that I've been looking into for, friends and family. And one's called Talkspace. I think they're doing a lot of advertising. You asked about how to advertise too. They're out west, they're in Silicon, they're, on billboards and things, but with movie stars, backing them. But imagine the prevalence of depression and anxiety in the younger population. Then they're not going to probably benefit as much from once a month going into an office visit but with this kind of tool, they can text a counselor or get on FaceTime with a counselor whenever they want, wherever they are. And I think that's a pretty important shift. Hopefully that sort of takes root.